Alright, we're recording now. Hey, even though we have small numbers, we're gonna kill it today. Sounds good? Okay, so guys, we're almost like the way. We only have 15 units or 15 lessons, and we're at lesson 11 and 12, okay? So we're already in December. We have winter break right ahead of us. All of the lessons and stuff are going to be done before winter break, okay? And the reason that is, it'll give you time to catch up over the winter break, okay? So this is what you should be completed with. You should be completed all the way up through lessons 8 and 9, okay? And this week you have lessons 10 and 11 that you need to do. We'll have 12 and 13 next week. And then the week after that, 14, 15, and then we're all done, okay? So it won't be a bad deal. Okay, so we're going to talk about two things today. One, we're going to talk about spending plans, which is basically a budget, okay? And then the second thing we're going to talk about is credit, and hopefully you don't get too much in debt by credit cards, okay? All right, so what is a spending plan real quick? It's a tool to use to record or track your projected or actual income expenses. Okay, it's also called a budget. So if I have more money that I'm spending than I'm bringing in, that's not good, right? Don't have any more money. So basically there's simple ways to do that. So what I'm going to have you guys do, tell me the benefits. I'm going to give you rights to write on the board real quick. Write down the benefits of a spending plan or a budget. What would be the benefits? Okay, so use your tools over here. You got your little writing tool. You can do it however you want, but write some things down on the board real quick of what exactly there. Okay. Good. More income, less spending. I like how you did that. Any other thoughts? We got a sleepy crowd out there. Maybe they did play a Ferris Bueller on me, huh? But they're just not doing that. Okay. That was my son. Probably heard him. Alright. Okay. Alright. So let's do this one. I'm going to roll the next page real quick. Now I want you to write down the consequences of not using a spending plan or budget, as you would say. Okay, what's the consequences of not using a budget? Man, I kind of wish there was more than 3 people here. Oh well. Okay, let me see if I can move this thing. Okay. So a couple things they put down there was no idea where the money has been spent. Bad spending habits are unidentified. Sometimes you have unprepared emergencies, right? So car breaks down, needs to be fixed, that kind of stuff, okay? Strained relationships, okay? You and whoever you're living with is fighting over money, right? Who has money? What has it? The lack of a savings plan, okay? Wasted money. Oh, what did people put there? Debtor's prison or poorhouse. Yeah, that's right. So we're going to talk about debt real quick, or in credit, and how you can get into debt, but doesn't work out too well, alright? Okay. Alright, hold on real quick. I gotta take care of something. My son just turned on the TV behind me. Can't have you hear the TV. Alright, that was fun. Had to deal with a little kid. Hey, I got 5 people now. Awesome. Okay, so some people said the consequences of not having a spending plan is you'll be in debtor's prison or be in the poorhouse. True. Some other things they talked about was lack of being able to spend things, waste money, stress. I know some things that are going on like right now. Like I did this project for a company, and I haven't received their money yet, and I have a whole bunch of credit card debt built up. Okay, so little scary sometimes when you don't know if the money's going to be there. Stressful. Okay, how do you make a spending plan? Okay, what you need to do is you need to see how much money you already have, evaluate your needs versus your wants. Okay, we kind of talked about that before, right? Do I need to have an Xbox, right? Do I need to have a PlayStation? You know, those would be really nice to have fun with, right? But you don't need those, right? What do you need? Well, I need food. And sometimes you got to think about the food too. You don't always need like the most expensive food, right? Do I really need to buy a $2 Monster drink, even though those suckers are awesome, right? So you have all those, okay? All right, so here's some basic guidelines for a budget. So your housing and utilities should be about 30% of your income. Food and household should be about 20%. Clothing and personnel should be 10%. Transportation should be 10%. Savings and investing should be 10%, and miscellaneous should be about 20%. Do I need food? Yes. Do I need clothes? Yes. Do I need the latest smartphone? No. I like it. Yeah, sometimes we go overboard. I love how so one of the things I did is I had this class in college called Economics of Poverty and Discrimination. Sounds kind of boring, but anyways, I went down to a homeless shelter and I did like a case study, and all I did was talk to the people in there and wrote down what I talked about. Dude, I was like a poor college student, and they were like handing out like toaster strudels, like those big huge things of toaster strudels. And I like toaster strudels. I don't know, but they're expensive, right? I couldn't afford them as a college kid. And then I was sitting there talking to him. This guy pulls out like this brand new video camera, and like they all had phones, and I was like, you know, like, let's do some prioritizing here, right? If you can afford that, should you really be coming to the homeless shelter and getting all this free food? So, I don't know. It just kind of made me think a little bit, right? But some people would rather have a phone than food. Okay, so there's some different budgeting things you can do. You can do something called the envelope system. What you do with that is you take all of your money in cash and you put it in different envelopes. Okay, somebody says your mom does that. All right, very cool. So my wife and I used to do that a little bit when we were spending money like crazy and we weren't too smart. We said, okay, this is our grocery budget. Once the money's gone out of the envelope for that area, like groceries or clothes or whatever, it's gone. You can't have it anymore, right? Somebody said they don't need food. Man, must be skinny boy. But as soon as it's gone, then it's gone, right? This is what I do now. I do a computer tracking system when I do my budget. I just list my expenses, each area, make sure I have enough money coming in, enough money coming out, and then there's always, I feel there's always a kind of a leftover, right? So, or an expense that I wasn't expecting, and so we gotta have to justify that and bring that money in from somewhere else. Okay, and then there's also paper tracking, so if you want to write down your budget like one by one. Okay, that moves us into lesson 12, which is in credit. Okay, and I got up to 6 people now. Awesome. Welcome, guys. We're almost done, actually, but that's cool. Let's kind of see where we're at. Okay, so in credit, okay, credit is a legal agreement to receive cash, goods, or services now and pay for them in the future. Okay, so if you kind of think about it, like a credit card or a credit like that. Okay, so I want you guys to put in the chat real quick what you think this is. Okay, so it says the average credit card balance for 2011, and this is the United States, was how much? How much do you think did people have in credit card debt? Okay, somebody said 15,000. Okay, anybody want to go higher, lower? What do you think? Average credit card debt in the United States. So, okay, somebody said 25,000. Any other takers? What's your thoughts? Average credit card debt in the United States. This was 2011, so this was, oh man, quite a few years ago. Talking about like 7, 8 years ago. 10 to 110? Oh, okay. So this is what it was. It was $6,576. Okay, so a little bit lower than you guys estimated, but still, that's quite a bit of money, right? Especially if you think about, they're probably paying a fee on that much money. If you're only paying the minimum payments, is like $75 to $100 they're spending in interest every month because of what, that much money on there. Okay, and it's going to take them like 15 years to pay that off. They just pay the minimum balance. So it's like, where are you going to get that money from? Okay, all right, so Utah average was what? Let's put that in the chat. What do you think Utah's average of credit card debt is? So somebody said a lot higher, so 20,000. So any others? What do you think? You know, Utah's known for being somewhat of a frugal state, right? So that means that they don't spend a lot of money, but I would say we still spend a lot. Okay, so we're at 8,000, 2,000, 15, okay. 5,816, okay? So it's pretty close to the national average, so a little bit lower, but still that's quite a bit of money. If you're thinking about it, you're spending 75 to 100 bucks a month on interest. Okay, that's 75 or 100 bucks you could be spending on something else for sure. That can go some places. Okay, so kind of interesting there. All right, so there's different types of credit. Okay, so we have credit cards, which I think are some of the most common. We have installment loans, service credit, revolving credit, student loans, IOUs, and then single payoff credit. Okay, most of the time for credit they want some kind of collateral. Like credit cards, they're higher interest because they don't have any collateral after it, right? They just have like your name attached to it. So, but you can get a lower like interest rate if you like finance your car, put your car up as collateral, or your home. You probably maybe heard of like a home equity loan. Okay, you're getting money out of there, and so they could actually come after your house and take possession of your house or make you sell it to pay off that loan. Okay, but you would get a better interest rate. So okay, so how do you establish credit? So through your bank account. So if you guys set up a bank account, you're going to start developing credit. Okay, also your employment history. If you work at a job or have consistent income coming in, you do that. Okay, residency history. So if you're living like in the same place and you're not moving from place to place. Utility borrower's name. So if your name is on a utility bill. And then also somebody said pay bills on time. Yep, so that's what the utility bills would do, right, if you paid on time. Also if you pay different like credit cards on time. Okay, and so that's something I did. My parents actually got me a credit card when I was 16, which is, I don't know if I'll do that to my kids, but I actually just put my gas on there and then we paid it off every month, and that got me some credit. Okay, so there are some advantages of having credit, but tell me some risks. So I'm going to open this up. You guys can write on the board here. What are some risks to having credit? So use these tools over here. What are some risks to having credit? So you're just going to put that on the board. So your tools should be open. So you guys can write on the board right here. Some risks to having credit. Okay, so credit can depreciate. Okay, somebody's saying debt. Right. Debt. Let's see what they said on there. So here's some things that they said. They said interest, okay? So as I said, paying interest each month. There's a lot there. Overspending, because sometimes you always don't know what's on your card, right? And especially if you have like 2 or more people on the same credit card, you guys are using it at different places. Next thing you know, like, oh wow, there's $1,000, right? Debt, okay? Somebody said that already. Good job there. Identity theft, okay? I would say with identity theft, it's actually better to use a credit card than a debit card. Okay, a debit card's directly linked to your bank account, and this is something we're going to be talking about a little bit more, is identity theft and people like stealing your money from you. That's one of the last units that we talk about. But if you use a credit card, you have zero liability, which basically means that if somebody steals your card, you just dispute that with the credit card company, and they have to pay you back. They don't take the money from you. Okay? But if it's from a debit card, that's directly taken out of your bank account. It's going to take you a long time to see that again. Okay? So I like using credit cards because, like, especially like using online and stuff, because if somebody catches your card and you say, oh, that wasn't me, then you just dispute it. Okay? So that's almost kind of a gain thing. So, okay, and that's it, guys. Okay, so any questions about budgets or credit? Okay, those are the 2 ones. That's lesson 11 and lesson 12 that's coming up here. Nope. All right. Okay, what I'm going to do, I'm going to flip through here to the very beginning real quick. So it shows what is due this week. So lesson 10 and lesson 11. So any quizzes that have a 10 or 11 in front of it are due at the end of this week. And I'm going to put zeros in for them on Monday. Okay, you probably have seen that. Okay, 12 and 13's after that, 14, 15, and then you have like a week to catch up. So after these 2 weeks will be winter break. Then you have a week that you can catch up. You can catch over a winter break too. And just keep retaking your quizzes, okay? If you get bad on them, retake them. Okay, you can take them as many times as you want. Yeah, is everybody excited for winter break? I am. I need a break for sure. So, okay, well, I'm going to stick around for a little bit if you need anything. If not, guys, we'll see you later. And thanks for coming. Appreciate everybody that showed up.